And welcome back to another GACC Podcast. This week, my name is Harrison, still your host. To my left,
I'm Faust.
And to my right,
James.
And we have James back after he decided to take a vacation. So there's been a lot going on this last week, and I think the biggest one that has everybody railing this week has been No Man's Sky.
Yeah. That seems to be a pretty big thing in gaming news right at the moment.
Been pretty popular.
Yeah.
Yes, this whole last week has been in basically No Man's Sky week, from the release date getting pushed back to everything leading up to it, and to the decision to basically release it at the same time, kind of. So everywhere around the world kind of got it at different times, but so for us it came out at like 11 in the morning.
Yeah, so it was released September 9th August 9th.
Yeah.
August 9th on the PS4. And there was a last-minute push to move the PC release date globally to August 12th. Then they didn't choose to release at like midnight on August 12th. So they released at a specific time. So for Mountain Standard Time, it came out at 11 o'clock a.m. that you could download, start playing. I mean, there was no preloading, no nothing. You had to absolutely wait till it hit at that time.
So preloading would have been kind of a joke anyway, because the game's only like 2.5 gigs.
Yeah, that was very surprising. You know, we saw, here's a game that's been touted for a while. It's supposed to be talking about like 18 quintillion universes, seamless, no loading screens, everything else, where you go from planets and everything procedurally generated. And they said, you're going to be surprised at how small it actually is. I went to download it, 2.6 gigs. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So it downloaded flawlessly, started it up. I was in the game within like 15 minutes after the launch. And so we managed to record the first hour of play footage, which means that, hey, guess what? It works without any issues. I mean, we also went back later. We were playing it, and no issues there either. Now, apparently there was a lot of issues. There's a lot of hate over this game right now. There was like, by 6 hours after the launch, maybe 8, there was like 15,000 Steam reviews, the majority of them going, this game is awful, it's crashing my PC, I can't get it to play, everything like that. They're like, the min specs can't run the game, blah, blah, wah. Oh my gosh, I drop frames, I can't keep it at my 4K resolution, and I'm dropping frames, it's going down to like 2 or 3 frames. This game is awful, it's a piece of crap, it should never have been released in this state. And I just sat there and I went, what's wrong with people nowadays?
Yeah. This is a small house developed indie game that happened to just get caught on the hype train. Like they were probably just trying to generate as much buzz as possible, but because they had really great visuals and a really great story about how long it took and the hardship that they had to endure to develop this game, it just ballooned into something where people started making it into something it wasn't. This is a game where you fly around to different planets and explore. There's no huge, overarching, like, cinematic plot straight from the get-go. You don't get picked up by some hero and then have to live through his like origin story all the way to his heroic death, sacrificing himself so you can continue to explore the universe before you go out and explore the universe. The first thing you do is fix your ship and take off. And the planet you start on, they just go, okay, you're done with this planet. Like you can't even go back.
Yeah.
And then the next planet is get warp ability, and then you're done with that. You're flying to the next place. And it's just planet. They have specifically cautioned people against trying to 100% these planets, trying to explore every planet to the fullest, because they're huge. They have lots of stuff to see on them, and there's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot is even understating it. There's quintillion is a number, and there are multiple quintillions of these planets.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like it came up, it launched, I was able to play. The game did disconnect from the servers, but I was still playing.
Mm-hmm.
That's...
For a game that's supposedly always online, the fact that it can still play offline, that's a great thing. And I think that we have to acknowledge that there are a lot of really magically great things going on behind the scenes here that people aren't really paying attention to because, yeah, you're dropping some frames. Yeah, it's not really optimized too well because they were a 15-man development house trying to get this game out under immense pressure and immense hype. And so it's a huge game for such a small team, and now they've actually brought in an even bigger team to play test it.
Yeah.
And get it fixed, and they're going to fix it.
But for 15 people, I mean, they put out a game that's such a small footprint that is actually well procedurally generated. Sure, it will hiccup every once in a while. But, oh my God, it's not that bad. I mean, I sat there, I was running the game at 1900 by 1200. I was running it on an R9 290X, 8 gig model card, running it with an Intel Skull Trail processor, so like the i7-4790K, okay? And running that and 16 gigs of memory, solid state drive, secondary drive as a spinner. Flawless all day long, okay? And I was looking at all these reviews and all this hate, and the minimum specs on this thing say at least an i3 processor.
Okay.
They say at least 8 gigs of memory. They say, I think NVIDIA GTX 480 or an AMD Radeon 7870 and 10 gigs of hard drive space. Now, they have put in there since the launch that you have to have a video card that supports OpenGL 4.5. The Intel processor's video just doesn't work for this. And they're saying Core 2 CPUs do not work. I also suspect that some of the actual low-end Intel Pentium processors don't work because there are a lot of people that, for the longest time have said, oh, for games, you just need graphics, you just need graphics, you just need graphics. So there was a fair amount of like the Intel Pentium, the G3258 Haswell processor that's sold. This is a dual-core processor, and it was about a $70 processor, $60, $70 processor that you could overclock the snot out of, okay? Doesn't have the instruction sets that an i3 processor has. This is a procedurally generated game. You need a little bit more beef to be able to play the game. And if you're trying to play it on an i3, I kind of expect some issues too. But this is one of those games that comes along every once in a while that says your processor does matter. So if you went and bought a $400 to $600 graphics card and then you're running it on a potato, it's your own damn fault.
Yeah. Really check the specs before you go whining. The other thing is make sure your drivers are up to date, and on top of that, you want to restart both the game and Steam because they have released a patch to the game already.
Yeah.
A hot patch that's supposed to make it do something with the virtual VC redistributed C++ redistributed
Visual C++ redistribution.
Yeah, so they weren't
redistributable package.
Yeah, they weren't including something that they really should have been, and that was causing a lot of problems. And now they are. So get the latest version of the game too, and see if you still have any trouble. So these are simple things, and you don't need to go and put a negative review up on Steam and open a support ticket because your system isn't up to spec or up to par.
I think there's just too much entitlement on this game, because it launched. You could play it at launch, as long as you have the proper specs and you're not sitting there and doing crazy things with it. Because your system's running Faust on what? You're running on an Intel processor.
Yeah, I'm on an i5, I believe.
Yeah, you're running an i5, and you're running with like a NVIDIA 970. 970.
I just upgraded to a 970.
Yeah. No issues at all there.
So, I get Shudder, but that's the game loading.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is for when we got rid of loading screens, it's because they either cleverly hidden or the game goes right before it bring something in because it's loading that stuff into memory. This is how a computer functions. Just saying that your game stutters and therefore it's a shitty game, you have to understand that game companies and devs have spent the last 15 years bending over backwards to get rid of loading times and loading screens for you assholes. So now you're complaining that a game has to load. That's just the same old chestnut. It's been going on forever and ever. If a game has to load, let it load.
Yeah. I mean, so what if I hit down to 4 frames while I'm going from space and hitting a planet, and all of a sudden it's trying to procedurally generate everything on that planet, and it goes herk for a minute. Big whoop. It launched and it played. Maybe that'll get smoothed out later on. I didn't have any problems when I was playing at 1 in the morning. It was a lot better because guess what? The servers were more available. But the resiliency in this game to be able to go offline and still work and still do things and drop off. My God, if EA could have done this with SimCity when they redid it.
Oh yeah,
The Sims.
If this game were working, if SimCity were working half as good as this game does at launch, then it wouldn't have been a big debacle.
Or was it Diablo 3 was a hot mess at launch where you couldn't even get into the servers, couldn't even play the game. World of Warcraft, every time there's been an expansion, has been a nightmare.
Yeah, that's true. Every expansion comes out, it's always an issue.
This game, they had trouble running on computers, but that's between system troubles, optimization troubles, and server troubles because they weren't expecting such a huge uptake. So now all that's just, we have a good starting off point because people were still capable of playing the game.
Yeah, and it had the most concurrent users out of any game for 2016 so far, over 200,000 on Steam. That is amazing. This game is holding up compared to a lot of the others I've played over time. Mm-hmm. I will be forgiving because I played it on launch day.
Yeah.
What does the internet not understand about this when you go to give a bad review?
That's usually unheard of, being able to play a game fully fine and well on launch day.
Yeah. From a non-AAA developer. A 15-man house has done this. This is not Blizzard screwing up with their servers for Diablo 3. This isn't
a big AAA developer with money and talent behind it. These are small people. This is a small house. I'm saying this absolutely wrong. So this is a small development house of people with heart and capability, and they put together an amazing game. Yeah. I think it looks absolutely phenomenal, and it delivered on exactly what they said it was going to be. I don't think people are being fair to this game.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
And this is starting to ring like the whole Fez thing all over again. The community needs to back off.
Actually, so the thing that they said on their Steam thing, let me pull that up.
Yeah, they put out the patch notes last night for an update and said, we're working out. We understand. Please be nice, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
What they said specifically on their thing for the support notice on Steam was, we are pulling an all-nighter to get through. Please try to be nice. When you have to ask your fans to be nice, bear with us, understand this is a huge thing. Anybody would have problems at this point. And then you see the thousands and thousands of negative reviews going on. It's like, what the hell's going on here? Really?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
People are just a little too entitled. And I think there needs to be a little bit more research even on the graphics cards that they're having problems. Because just because you have a graphics card and it has a higher number than, like a 7870, does not mean it's a better graphics card. Because there's issues there too.
That's true.
Mobile processors may have issues also. It's like there's a lot of things you got to take into consideration here with these games before you buy them.
And I guarantee you, it doesn't matter how fastidious you are about keeping your system to your liking or whatever. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some hardware conflict or some software conflict or a driver missing or something that's not updated or something that's not installed properly. There's always something wrong with any system. No system is immune to entropy. These things break down over time. They break down over the amount of time that you use them. So if you're having a problem with something, you should give your system a good once-over before you go and start blaming outside sources.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's what a lot of it was. James, if you're having problems with a game, whether you've launched or it's patched or whatnot, are you going to instantly blame the game developer, or are you going to go look to see if there's, try to diagnose the issue?
I'm going to look to see what the problem is, see if there's anything on my system that's causing it first.
Okay, so you're going to actually try to diagnose the issue.
Oh, yeah, of course. Why?
So your first thing you're going to do is you're going to go probably check drivers, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Is there anything else you're going to go look at? I mean, basically, you're going to play mechanic, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For my computer, and then make sure the internet's working correctly, because we have Comcast, and Comcast sucks.
And at what point do you give up and go, well, it's not me, and then just start blaming the developer?
Usually if it's obviously a development issue.
Right.
If I obviously pinpoint it to a development issue, then I start blaming them.
I'm actually trying to think of a game that I sat down and played and was such a hot mess that I was saying they just didn't put any effort. I mean, the famous one is The Getaway, I think.
The Getaway?
Or was it Driver, one of the drivers? There was some game that was, it's a huge thing that's been kind of like covered up over time, but it was a game that was very obviously just like an alpha of an alpha version that was rushed to market because of publisher woes or whatever like that. And, so those are games that are absolutely broken on launch and just...
I don't
think I've ever played a game that wasn't just at least competently put together.
Well, I've had one where it was a developer, but it wasn't really like a problem with the game itself. It's just what they said they would give us and didn't supply. So I've been playing Mighty Number 9. I've been following it because I've been funding it rather. And so they gave you the original concept, original ideas. Here's how the story is going to be. Here's how the characters are going to be. And then when the game launched, it was nothing like anything, and it was kind of felt like it was just half-assed put together. That's one that but I haven't finished it yet. I'm still halfway done, but it just doesn't feel the same as what they said it would be. And it just feels basically a rehash of Mega Man.
So the hype train there is not living up nostalgia-wise, right?
Yeah, pretty much. The game is. The game is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the game is shit. I'm not saying the game is crap. I'm not saying the developer doesn't know what they're doing. It's just
it's not worth the $4 million that they
invest into it. It's just kind of like you. This is what we were expecting, and we got something completely different, and it was just kind of like. And then so I did a comparison with that game and a game called Dust.
Dust. Is that Dust and Elysian Tale?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
And that one had a whole lot less funding, and it was done excellent.
It was actually a fraction of the funding, and from what I've seen, gameplay footage wise, between Dust and Elysian Tale and Mighty Number 9, they look so wholly different. As far as like polish,
it's well polished. Because Mighty Number 9, it just kind of feels like a game. It's just like, and it's like you're playing it, and you're like, I'm not really motivated to continue because
hold right, jump and shoot.
Yeah,
you're not engaged. There's
like
no
you
investment.
go shoot stuff. You have a dash. You have a long dash, and it's basically Mega Man. It feels like Mega Man, and I understand it's by the creator of Mega Man, but it's supposed to be a separate game. So, I mean, like I said, that's the only time I've ever had developer issues, when you promise something and then we got something that's not even close. Because when it dropped, I literally went, what the is this? You know?
Yeah.
I usually go in with a different mindset when I think about indie developed games versus AAA titles.
Yeah.
Like a AAA title, I do expect a sort of more micromanaged sense of polish, where it's, it may fall apart in certain aspects, but everything else, every other small bit is like the textures may not be great, but the sound is good, and the game flows right, and the weapons are designed well, and they feel like they have some punch. Or one of those things could drop off, and everything else will rise to fix it up.
Like the story.
But that's a big that's a big development house. They have people in teams assigned to each of these things. So if one ends up dropping the ball, the other ones kind of pick up the slack. In an indie development house, it's a small team, and they have to take care of all of these assets and all of these things. And so if one person drops the ball, it can destroy the entire title. Because they're usually smaller games, more tightly designed, and shorter as far as gameplay is concerned, unless it's a game that just is sort of a general premise, like No Man's Sky. Fly around and explore, and
Yeah.
just give them a huge sandbox to explore in. So yeah, I go into it with I try to go into it with a completely different mindset.
Like I said, that's the only game I've had issues with. And another one was better too. Is Ori and the Blind Forest. The storytelling in that is just amazing, from what I'm told.
But
I have it. I'm going to play it next.
Yeah, but that's I mean, that's sometimes done that's a different philosophical point where having a bigger budget doesn't always mean you're going to make a better game, because then you end up getting into other issues like what's that one by Roberts Industries with all the ships that you can buy?
World of Warships? Or
No, not World of Warships.
Are you talking about that one where they spent millions of dollars and did the battling?
They're still crowdfunding over it. It's by Robert Industries.
Well, the one, I mean, when it comes to money versus quality of the game, the only one that I can really think of is Daikatana. Like, that's the first real misstep, the first real example.
Tim Schafer had one too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Tim Schafer of Double Fine?
Yeah. He had to apologize for one of his games because it just the funding was more Star Citizen. But anyways, Tim Schafer.
This is the Tim Schafer one?
No. That was me going.
Games.
Yeah, Robert Industries. But we're going to get back to Robert Industries and Star Citizen here in a second. I mean, Tim Schafer's even apologized before. He says, you know, the game, one of his games came out, and I forget which one, but he said, we made too much money, or we got too much money, and so we started to extrapolate too much, and we lost focus. So by having too much of a budget can destroy the game sometimes.
Okay.
And
I see. I'm looking at a list of Tim Schafer games, and probably it wouldn't be really listed here.
may have been that's
Possibly Brutal Legend?
no, it wasn't. I don't think it was Brutal Legend.
I don't think he apologized. Crime Cities? Never heard of that one.
Yeah, I don't remember which one, but I remember him during an interview saying sometimes too much funding can just make it, can give problems with it. Mm-hmm. But the other game that's just like ridiculous right now in crowdfunding that's just blowing up way too much is Star Citizen. Star Citizen, you keep hearing about it every once in a while. This is supposed to be a space game where you got ships and everything else. And, you know, you're supposed to be able to fly and you can buy specific ships. I mean, people bought like $300 ships in this game. And this game has
like
been...
$300 real money ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game has been in development for a long time and you can play it the whole way through. But it's supposed to kind of be released, but at the same point, they're just releasing modules and keep tacking onto it, and this really is supposed to be the online playable one, but there's no full release date for this. This thing has been in development since oh my gosh, at least the last 5 years.
Wow.
It's been a long time. It's been in development, and to date it has raised $118 million. $118 million.
And so you're saying this game is kind of still a hot mess?
Oh, it's a very hot mess.
Yeah.
It's a very hot mess.
I love that phrase.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came out, but yeah, so the game's a hot mess.
Yeah. And really it's kind of there. It's been playable sort of in stages and they give weekly announcements and whatnot, but people are buying stupid ships for this all the time. They're buying ships.
You have to understand the gaming public, while, you know, discerning and educated as they may be, these are still the same people who have kept funding and still fund APB Reloaded, a game where you do not win unless you buy the same weapons that the other players are buying.
Yeah.
And those weapons, when you buy a weapon, you're renting it. You get it for 7 days.
Yeah.
You pay like $14 for an AK, and it's on your account. You can use it for 7 days, and then you have to pay for it again.
Yeah, that happens, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to bash on Star Citizen just a little bit more. It's like, there's Elite Dangerous. That's been out as a finished product. Elite
Dangerous has made its missteps, but yes, it finally came to the market with a finished product, and they kept adding on to it. I didn't like that they basically called Planetfall, being able to land on planets, an expansion, when the only thing it is a more extended and contrived kind of space station sort of thing, because you don't really go and do anything on the planet like No Man's Sky. You don't go running around on the surface grabbing minerals or anything like that. You can fly around and mine some, but mining in that game is boring. And then you can land at stations, which is just like landing at space stations. You do trade, you fix your ship, you take off and go hunt some bounties. And that's the really thing, is the game itself became unfairly balanced, where bounty hunting and combat in the game was basically the only way to really get ahead in that game. Everything else was just a time sink.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Elite Dangerous is a great game. It's very fun. I played the hell out of it before No Man's Sky came out, and I probably still will keep playing it, but I go back to it every now and then, just go and like take my ship and fly in some direction and hopefully meet either the center of the galaxy or the edge of the galaxy. I don't care which first.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of the big difference there. And even No Man's Sky is, again, really, really small production studio. And sure, it got overhyped, but it's like if you actually read and whatnot, it's about exploration and trade. And I knew this could be a slow plod game. It's like Minecraft in space, but a lot prettier,
Mm-hmm.
This is true. I'm looking at this and I'm like, that is pretty.
And the only comparison is that there is crafting, and you have to grab materials from the top the surface of the planets. You don't really go and dig a cave. There are caves to explore, but I don't think the caves have really been fleshed out too much yet. They all seem pretty much the same.
They're procedurally generated, and yes, you can technically dig a cave. It's called grenades, but
yeah,
but there's that. You can mine in space, and at some point later on, they're going to, hopefully make it so you can actually build your own shelters and whatnot. But right now, it's just you're exploring. That's it, and we can point to thousands of examples that have done worse than this.
Yeah, that's all I was doing by saying Mighty Number 9. That was just my example of something that was done worse.
Yeah, something that's done worse. So back off, Hello Games community. Just back off. Okay, we've experienced worse, and get off your pedestals. Give them some time to fix this.
I think any game can be given a sort of leeway based upon the breadth that the game promises. So Minecraft is given leeway because it's, every map is infinite, quote unquote. And you are given this infinite promise of being able to do whatever it is you want to do. You're given basically a toy box full of tools and told to go nuts. And so we give them a lot of leeway. We don't give AAA developers leeway like CD Projekt Red, who did The Witcher. And I'm not saying that they failed with the Witcher series or anything like that. They've been doing really great with it. But we wouldn't give them the same trouble because the Witcher games are immensely long and immensely well designed, and they look pretty, and there's monsters to fight. And as long as it looks pretty and there's monsters to fight and somebody gets their tits out, it's a Witcher game. And we'll give them that, but we won't give them the same amount of leeway if they were to release the next Witcher game and half the time like Geralt's head fell off when you started the game and you had to just keep reloading the game. If there was some big game-breaking glitch in the game, you can bet we would be ripping into them.
Unless Bethesda made it.
Well, yeah, Bethesda's the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Bethesda gets away with their glitches all day long for Fallout.
Their
for
glitches are fun, though.
Skyrim. It's like if there's not glitches and bugs in their game, and it's a hot mess, it's expected. And there was not that much hate for them when they put out their stuff here.
I would like to point out, going all geeky here, I did say game-breaking glitch. Bethesda glitches are fun. Like
they have some game-breaking ones,
I've never really had anything game-breaking in any of the Bethesda things. Have you had a game-breaking glitch in a Bethesda game? I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that.
I've seen game-breaking glitches, and I think mods are very much so that. But,
well, you can't blame Bethesda for that if it's a mod.
Well, no, and typically you can reload, but I've seen corrupted files too.
Oh, well,
but keeping with space and sci-fi.
Yeah, I know what you're going to talk about here.
William Shatner is my hero for this last week because he flat out at a Star Trek convention came out and basically said that if it wasn't for the Star Wars movies, we wouldn't have Star Trek like we do now. So Captain Kirk has acknowledged and thanked Star Wars for allowing Star Trek to ride on his coattails.
I don't think it's said like that. He just thanked them for being there. I think you're taking this overboard, buddy.
Think I'm taking this over
because
this?
you're a Star Wars fan. He thanked them because he's right. Without Star Wars, there wouldn't be Star Trek. But he didn't say thank you for letting us ride your tail.
Well, he kind of did.
No.
Yeah.
No, he just said thank you because without Star Wars, it wouldn't be a Star Trek because they need to have someone to compete against.
Well, let's see here. I mean, quote, first of all, Star Wars created Star Trek. You know that? He asked. Shatner said that. Mm-hmm. Okay? And he said it, and he knows that the shows came out before the movies. But he clarified and said that, you know, they were threatened of being canceled every season for the original Star Trek TV show.
Like any TV show that was trying something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was because Star Wars hit the theaters, made like $775 million. Paramount Studios went, what do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Oh, we have this thing called Star Trek that we canceled. Can we bring it back to the big screen? Mm-hmm. And the first movie's awful for Star Trek. It really, really is. Have you ever watched Star Trek the Motion Picture?
No.
You've never watched it?
I can't remember. I haven't had it in memory. I remember Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock.
Okay. Wrath of Khan was good.
The one where they had to go back in time for the whales, or I think that's
the Search for Spock.
That's the Search for Spock?
Yeah.
Nah, that's, like, I don't really remember
Yeah,
it
that
too
was
much.
like the Voyage. No, that's the Voyage Home.
And then I remember the Next Generation movies because I had to watch every single one of them. And then this new run of movies, I've had to watch every single one of them. Mm-hmm. So those are more fresh in memory, but not the original Star Trek ones, no.
Well, some of that original Star Trek stuff was bad. I mean, you should go back and watch the actual Star Trek the Motion Picture. It was awful. I mean, they changed up the suits, the special effects were poor, you know, everything like that.
So Nostalgia Critic maintains that every other Star Trek movie is a dud. So from the first one to the first one, like the second one was great, third one sucked, fourth one was great, fifth one sucked. Like if you really, really think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's basically been relatively consistent with Star Trek movies. I mean, they've always been hit or miss like that for the most part. Mm-hmm. And all of them have that. But I think it's great that there's always been this, you know, argument between which one's better, Star Trek or Star Wars. Captain Kirk goes, thanks, Star Wars. Mm-hmm. He does say that they are different because, I mean, Star Trek is
I was about to say, yeah.
space opera.
Yes.
Versus Star Trek is more about people and philosophy and, you know, personal and getting along.
Yeah, like the only thing that draws a similarity that makes people make the comparison is that they are in space with ships. Like that is right. Literally it.
And aliens.
Well, yeah, there are some weird freaky aliens, though it's really weird how in Star Trek most of the aliens are bipedal and in some way
slept with Kirk.
Yeah, some way attractive. You know,
Tribble slept with Kirk.
Yeah,
I said most, not all.
Hey, those Tribbles got everywhere.
Yeah, man. Okay, yeah.
True. So I would say that this is a victory. This is winning a battle for the Star Wars thing. If you have to acknowledge this competition in the first place, they are different. They are so different that you really can't draw too much comparison or say one is better than the other. They are just different. So I'm not going to like jump into one camp or the other here, but I'm going to say, for the sake of devil's advocacy, this is a win of a battle for Star Wars. This is not winning the war between Star Wars and Star Trek.
The war's not over.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're talking about which one's better, and then if you're talking there,
I need you to say one shall stand, one shall fall. Come on.
That's Transformers.
I know. You're supposed to say that because you're the Transformers guy.
Is that the motto of the Decepticons or what?
No,
that's what Optimus Prime always tells Megatron when they're fighting. Not all the time.
Really, that doesn't sound like something Optimus Prime would say.
Yeah, actually, he does say it in the motion picture, and I think they pay tribute to it within the actual movies when they were doing their fight. But the original anime series, they're like, all right, we're gonna really throw down this time, and it's like, okay, fine, Megatron. He's like, we'll find out, you know, who's the victor. One shall stand and one shall fall. You know,
there will be only one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you're going to Highlander.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
That's the series I watched. Like I really got into, kind of.
Highlander was.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Highlander was amazing.
Yeah. Good redirect there.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well.
So, in other news, I did just see a little blurb here, and I forgot to really mention that, but I think this deserves getting some recognition here. Apparently, the first 13 years of Nintendo Power are available for free online.
Yes.
That is a whole lot of Nintendo Power, and I'm actually going to go and use this link that I've got in front of me here after the show and look up the one that I always remember reading, and that was the one my next-door neighbor had that had all the maps to Legend of Zelda.
Yes, the Legend of Zelda maps and everything.
Those things were treasure before the internet.
All the Final Fantasy walkthroughs back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Where to get the warp whistles in Super Mario 3.
Are you going to buy the tiny little Nintendo to get all the classic games?
I might if I get some extra cash. I don't really do that. I homebrew my PSP, and I don't really pick up the retro titles anymore because the whole retro gaming thing, it's really weird. The preventative measure that keeps me from getting back into retro consoles and everything is I would need to get a CRT. Most specifically, I would need to find the CRT that I played my games on, which was a 19-inch Panasonic, I think. It was kind of weird. It was a very boxy, tiny television, but it was how I remember playing these games. And so, I could go out and I could find that, but then keeping a CRT in my room where I don't really have the space for it, and keeping all of those consoles and keeping all of the cartridges, it gets way too much space and time and money. I don't have any of those. So I stick with what I've got.
I'm okay with virtual consoles for nostalgia myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So, are you going to end up picking up the little Nintendo Nuck?
Yeah.
You are?
I'll probably get 2.
You're going to get 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, I did see something in the Raspberry Pi camp where somebody's using a Pi Zero. They can actually fit a Pi Zero, which is this tiny, it's like half the size of a credit card, tiny computer. Mm-hmm. They fit it into a retro style, not the actual, but a retro style Nintendo original NES controller.
Yeah.
And they made the controller USB into a computer and emulate NES games. So you can make your own for I believe you can make your own for maybe around the same cost as this miniature one that's coming out.
$60.
Yeah.
I want to see someone do that with the original Xbox controller.
Oh, God.
The big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the Dreamcast.
Well, that was unexpected. Mm-hmm. So, let's get back on talking about stuff for the week. I'm going to flip over to Pokemon Go real quick, even though, it's been talked to death. And I don't play it.
Yeah.
But I could go to Iran. I don't have to worry. Don't have to worry at all. Go to Iran. They've banned it.
Let me amend this. They did ban Pokemon Go in Iran, so you could go to Iran and not have to worry about playing Pokemon Go.
Correct.
But if you, a white American, go to Iran, I think you're going to have way more things on your mind than playing Pokemon Go.
As I always do.
Yeah.
But, just saying, there's a country that's banned
officially banned Pokemon Go.
Yes.
Well, technically, you could probably argue that North Korea has banned Pokemon Go, but that's because they banned cell phones. So
that's true.
Yeah.
But
they have their own internal.
But if you don't have cell phones,
stuff,
then that doesn't really count. That's like a pre-banning.
I'm just taking the wind out of your sails.
No, you're trying to at least. But I thought that was interesting. And then we have what some Chinese company has managed to kind of rip off Pokemon with like the whole capture practice thing.
Oh, yeah.
So they made a knockoff app, and oh my God, it is hilarious.
Yeah. You guys really got to look this up. There's no doing this justice as far as descriptions.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do my best to kind of give you a sense here. So it is just a blatant copy of Pokemon Go. But the monsters look like, first they show 2 here, a Pikachu, and I guess that's a Snorlax.
That's a Snorlax.
Okay, so the Pikachu looks like he swallowed a poker chip. He's got this like around the cheek zone, he's sort of got this disc just sort of jutting out, and the body is just kind of like your usual Huckleberry Hound, kind of like slack body. Mm-hmm. So he's not, there's no model as far, it's very obviously Pikachu, but it is not on model for Pikachu. The Snorlax is weird. So it's this gigantic head.
So if you want to find this game, it's actually called Pokeball Coach. And it may even be Pokeball Coach for Pokemon Go.
If it's even up.
It is. It's up in the official Play Store. This is an app that you can buy. And
Wait, you have to pay money for it?
Probably
Maybe.
$1.
My phone's gone. I'm not on
Yeah,
my phone
who
on
knows?
so-
I don't
yeah.
even know if it costs money, but you could go check this thing out. I would expect you to probably have to pay something for this, but it's from a Chinese developer called Rejected Games, FPS Adventure, and Sports Simulation Adventure. So it could be that the game's actually called Pokeball Coach for Pokemon Go, but it's just, oh my gosh, what they did to these things would. If you want to get your kids not playing Pokemon, give them this game. It'll give them nightmares, but they'll never want to go catch another Pokemon again. Holy crap, this game is nightmare fuel. It's like, it was creepy, the pictures they got in that.
I'll take your word on that.
I'm not able to find it on the website.
I'm not even trying.
Yeah. I thought I'd be able to look it up real quick, but no. What's this I see here? Crystal Pepsi is back on shelves.
Yes.
Like, are we just all just revolving around the 80s and 90s?
1993!
Oh, Jesus.
So,
Like, come on, people.
oh, come on. The community wanted this. I mean, so many people.
I
on the
wonder if it
internet-
was after that guy who drank the 20-year-old Crystal Pepsi and then vomited for like 20 minutes.
L.A. Beast.
It is because of LA Beast. He really is. He got a petition going and everything, and they got enough stuff, so they decided to bring back Crystal Pepsi, and
Shit. So Crystal Pepsi's back on shelves. Ecto Cooler is back on shelves.
Mm-hmm. Pokemon's popular.
Pokemon's
again.
popular again.
Well, popular.
Star Wars is popular again.
right.
We're having a new
Ghostbusters is popular again.
We're having a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie coming out.
yep.
So yeah, we are really just stuck in the 80s and 90s.
Everything old is new again. I mean,
Yeah.
look. I mean, space games are coming back again. Flying games like
flying
this.
around in space.
We need Galaga.
Oh, Galaga's not exactly flying around in space, sir.
Kind of.
Galaga.
No.
Which one was Galaga again?
That's the one where you were in a spaceship in space shooting.
Oh, so that's the
No, that's Space Invaders.
Space Invaders.
No, Galaga, dude.
Space Invaders. Space Invaders had the aliens in a row that came down, and you're shooting up. Galaga was in.
It's basically space. It was Space Invaders Plus.
Yeah, Space Invaders
Yeah.
Plus.
There you go.
It,
It's still in space.
Apparently, you can play it for free at freegalaga.com.
you know what? I bet you if they had an Amiga version, you're going to be able to play it now for free also.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a repository of about 10,000 Amiga games that have been released for play online. In the Internet Archive, they added 10,000 Amiga games. So there's old classics, and I know a lot of these old games were ported to the Amiga back in the day. Go ahead and give them a shot. You might find something worth playing.
Apparently, the listed platforms for Galaga do not list an Amiga.
Oh,
Yeah. So, but there's a lot of older ones. Apparently, there's a version of Galaga for Palm OS.
really?
Yeah.
Well,
Was the
HP bought that and killed it, so you're not going to get that.
Really? Is that what happened to Palm OS?
Yeah.
That was.
What do you
Yeah.
think? That was the tablet that HP had out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be
That was
Palm OS.
So
Yeah.
that's where that went. Okay.
Yeah, there's was it HP bought 3Com, which had bought Palm, I think, something along there, and then they just
Killed it.
killed it.
Well, the saddest part is they made the money back when they put the price down to a reasonable price for those tablets. They could have actually beat out Apple, but he decided to go, no, we're just gonna dump it. You're like, you could have them destroyed in like a day. Guess not.
Nope. So I think
Leo thought it was a good idea to cut it.
Well, it's a good thing we talked about video games because my final bit that I wanted to discuss for this week's show, for those documentary fans, Werner Herzog is doing a documentary about gaming addiction. So this guy's a really famous sort of artsy kind of documentarian. He does a lot of stuff that most people won't touch. And he's credited with a lot of weird things. And I'm only very vaguely familiar with Werner Herzog's videography, but because he's tackling video games and addiction to video games, specifically MMOs, I think it'd be interesting, worth mentioning and checking out. So I might come back with another report on exactly what that was like.
Cool.
But yeah, that was just something I wanted to mention.
All right.
Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Nah, man, I'm all good. I got to talk about what I want to talk about. So.
You're still watching Neptunia, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hyperdimension Neptunia.
Oh, boy.
And playing the game too.
Well, I think that's it for this week. I mean, we've had some. There's one thing hardware-wise. Seagate prototyped a 60 terabyte SSD drive.
Nobody can live at that speed.
It's not speed, it's storage.
Yeah, but storing what?
Do you know how much porn you could fit on 60 terabytes of SSD?
Why? When it's free.
I bet you could fit more.
Why would you need to store it when it's free?
Like, why do you say porn?
For the zombie apocalypse, sir. What are you going to do when we have a zombie
more things
when
to
the
worry
internet's
about when
down,
the
I think is
internet
what
will
I
be
mean.
down at that point.
Exactly.
I
That's
will
why you
admit-
can store the internet porn and you can bring it back and
I
save
do
humanity.
hold over a few videos and pictures because if the internet's down, I still want to be able to. Yeah. So, still 60
You are
terabytes. If you try to economize for viewing length, viewing time, 60 terabytes worth of porn would probably be more than anybody could feasibly watch in their lifetime.
Do you understand? You both are terrible, right?
Yeah.
Zombie apocalypse, and the first thing you care about is porn.
No, actually, in the zombie apocalypse, actually, the first thing that I would care about is food.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Porn.
Hey,
food and water.
Right?
look, I'm just saying people still have needs, okay? You can't forget about those needs. And quite frankly, if I got porn and it can get me out of getting killed, you know what? I'm the smarter man, okay? But anyways, so this is going to be a 3.5 inch form factor. And the thing is, that's really crazy about this is this prototype, they're expecting them to be able to get up to 1 petabyte of storage. 1 petabyte!
Is that like 1,000 terabytes?
Yes! In a 3.5 inch drive. And, you know, as much as you're saying, who needs 60 terabytes of storage?
Who needs 1,000 terabytes of storage?
You know what? I know somebody that does.
Yeah.
My friend does. He would store all his movies on it.
Yeah.
Anybody that does like slow-mo photography
Oh, yeah, that takes
needs that sort of
space.
storage.
But not everybody's a slow-mo photographer.
No,
Yeah.
but the way everything's going up to 4K and even filming in 4K, we need this. I mean, how long ago were we saying, who needs a terabyte hard drive? I mean, who needs this?
No, who needs a gig?
Yeah.
I remember saying like, who needs a gig's worth of space? I'll never be able to fill that up. Now I regularly fill up like 10 gigs of space, just like ripping CDs and stuff.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
How much does it go for?
It's a prototype. No that means no
market.
price, no market.
Not on market yet.
They're just showing it off.
Will be.
Yeah, will be.
I want one.
Considering that they're already coming out with like terabyte flash drives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the sort of stuff that's causing a paradigm shift for file storage and even virtual servers and everything like that, where they're all going to go to SSDs more so than the spinning drives, because we're now exceeding capacity with solid states that are more reliable than spinners.
That way I can have a storage for my Windows XP virtual machine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can still keep it going.
Could you imagine having like, because they're also smaller, the SSDs are smaller. Could you imagine having like 10 drives in your computer and most of them are virtual machines for other operating systems?
It happens now.
Oh God, that would be so. No.
It's like
Here's
here's a virtual machine for the Amigo
Time,
OS.
you're just like, let it die.
Here's Amigo OS. Here's Commodore 64 with a terabyte.
Right?
Here's
Yeah.
like
Commodore with a
Commodore
terabyte.
64 OS.
Wow.
Terabyte worth of space.
All right. All
You have
right.
every last game that's only taking up like 100 gigs.
Oh God.
I think we're gonna end it there. We're gonna end it there.
See you later, folks.
So, thank you again for tuning in to
Have
the
a good evening, guys.
GACC podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, share, comment. Let us know if you like this or what we're doing.
Check us out on iTunes and Google Play, and remember to rate and comment there as well.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you next week.
See you next time.
I just hope this whole thing doesn't blow up in your face, because I mean, all the and
How many people hung on to?
well, not new.
Like-
No, I mean like what happened with the Fez.